Hey everybody, Brad here with Best-Tronics Pro Audio. Today we're going to cover tackling the tuning aspect of the Quad Cortex redundant fly rigs that we've been building. Here we go. So if you're unfamiliar with the redundant Quad Cortex rigs that I'm speaking of, we've got a couple other videos showcasing what they do, the gear that's being used, and just overall the purpose of them. Briefly, it's just using a main and spare Quad Cortex and being able to switch between A or B or the main and spare and run both stereo while still only using 2 channels on your input list. So check those out. It'll kind of give you an explanation on this. What we're covering today is tackling the tuning aspect and still being able to use a tuner at the front of the stage. There's some people using the Evertune stuff or whatever, they don't need that, but obviously a lot of people still do. So this will allow you to have a tuner on a pedal board or put on the drum riser or something, and still be able to handle tuning between both rigs, mute your signal, all that good stuff. There's a couple ways to do it. I will say also that these are using MIDI switchers. A lot of people using the redundant Quad Cortex rigs will have all their MIDI switching done automated via their playback rig. These are being done floorboard MIDI switchers. The guitarists and artists are still controlling their patches on their own, which is great. Some people still like to do that. Well, I guess to each your own. That's probably the majority right now. But yeah, so anyways, these are being controlled via the RJM Mastermind LTs, which are great little units. And they also have a tuner on the board. So we're going to kind of show a few ways to do this. So in these particular racks, we're using the Lehle 1 at 3 ABY switchers. Input 1 is your guitar input, and output 1 is going to the main Quad Cortex. Output 2 is going to the spare Quad Cortex. And then 3 we have routed to the panel on the rack that says tuner, and that's being run in a loom to the pedal board with power for the board, MIDI for the switcher, and obviously the tuner signal hit the tuner. So we've got the board set up so that there's an I/O panel on the side for easy connections and routing and locking connections. So it's a pretty easy setup and tear down. So going this route with the MIDI switcher, there's a couple ways that you can do this. The main and easiest way, programming wise, would be to program a button on the Mastermind LT for tuning. And to do that, you would just program the Mastermind LT button to talk to the rack switcher within the rack and have it go to output C, which is the tuner, which would essentially mute A and B, the spare and the main Quad Cortex. So the audio signal is not hitting those and it would mute the signal. Okay. So we're going to start by putting the Lehle 1 at 3 switcher into mode 2. And what the mode 2 on the 1 at 3 does is basically just allows it to be programmable. So to do that, you have to hold down all 3 buttons here, and they're going to start flashing. And then it'll illuminate one of these 3 buttons. And this will be mode 1, mode 2, mode 3. Now this is already in mode 2, so when we hold it down, it's going to go to mode 3. But out of the box, when you do this, it'll immediately go to mode 2, which is what you need. I'm not going, but I'll just do this for the sake of showing you. So now it's mode 3. Now, mode 1. And now it's mode 2, which is what we want. Woohoo! Okay, so we've set it to the correct program. I didn't mention this before, but you probably saw on the Lehle label that was set to MIDI channel 3. We have a video showing how to do that, to set the MIDI channels on that, so I recommend watching that if you're not familiar. Anyways, so we'll show you how to do this on the Mastermind editor. So we're on the Mastermind editor here. We go to devices. I currently have this set up just for the time being as device 1. So the Lehle 1 at 3. You select the MIDI channel, which is right here. Done. Then you'll go to presets. Right now I'm just doing preset 4. I labeled it tune. We want to send a PC message. I just set it as PC message 2. You could set it as whatever you would like. And then you're going to hit transfer to write the settings to the LT, and that's the computer side of things. So now we need to program the Lehle 1 at 3 to know what it does when it receives the program change. So we set up on the computer that when you hit 4, it sends a program change to the Lehle. So we've already got this program to show you. So just to start from anew here, you send the program change by hitting 4. Then you hold this program button down and it'll start blinking. So that's as it goes on. So now we'll just hit 1 for the time being. Now we want to just make sure this works. Hit 4, boom, it works, done. Okay, so now what that does is obviously it mutes the signal because it routes the input to not hit either Quad Cortex and routes it to the tuner, which is on the pedal board. If you're someone that wants the tuner as an always on input, we'll go ahead and show you how to do that and still mute the signal so that the audience isn't hearing you tune. Okay, so to do it where your tuner is always on and still be able to mute your signal when you need to tune, if you for whatever reason want that, here's how you do it. We'll start with programming on the Mastermind side of things. So we've got our Mastermind hooked up to the editor. Like I said, we have the Lehle as device 1. Device 2, we're going to set up the Voodoo Lab control switcher. We go to generic because the Voodoo Lab tab on here doesn't have the control switcher. Then we go to control switcher. If you noticed on the labeling on the rack, this is MIDI channel 4, so we've got it set up to MIDI channel 4. Then you go to presets. Right now we're just doing this on tuner always on. So right now we've got it set up for A, meaning the main. So this is the tuner's always on for the main. So we'll do a PC message. I just chose 7 for whatever reason here. And then you go to the CC toggle here, and you want to create a new action. You select the control switcher, and then CC number is going to be 81. So if you look at the Voodoo Lab control switcher manual, the stock way it comes is 80 is channel, or 80 is switch 1, 81 is switch 2. So we want to control the mute function of the radio backtrack, which is switch number 2 on the Voodoo Lab control switcher. So you do 81, on value is 100, you transfer and hit right. So now we'll start with the setting up the Lehle. So we've got the program change, it was 7. This is already set up as you can see. So this goes to the main Quad Cortex and as well as the tuner. So here's how you do that. You hit number 2 again, so that's 10, and that sends the program change. So imagine this wasn't programmed. You'd hit this and none of these lights would be on. So it'd be like this. Well, you want to, you can do it one at a time. So the main, you want to hit this, hold it down, it blinks. It's programmed. You hit this, hold it down, it blinks, it's programmed. So, boom. Okay, you're set up there. Now, the Voodoo Lab control switcher. Back it up here real quick. You can see the control switcher is right there. We want the mute right there to illuminate. And we want the Q select to illuminate, or not, sorry, not Q select. We want the mute over there to illuminate as well. So here's how we do that. That again, we showed you what the control changes. So you just hit this. Sure enough, it does. So this will mute the signal going to the PA or your splitter, and then it'll allow you to tune. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, I hope that helps. kind of cover a couple different ways to run a tuner with a MIDI switcher, whether this MIDI switcher itself is in front of you as a player or by a guitar tech station or even done via playback. This is just one of the ways that you can use a tuner with these redundant Quad Cortex rigs. It kind of just shows how widely they can really be used and how adaptable they are to different situations. Like what you saw, it'd be great if you could hit the subscribe button. If you're liking the video, if you got any comments, questions, just shoot us a comment below. That'll see you next time.